get up and just stand and we can enchant the Om mantra so that the energy comes back, because that will be the very good thing. So let's all get up. Probably start doing some Sukshma pranayama, moving the energy, and then raising your hands, and then moving in the front, and then again straight. That's called the Sukshma pranayama, when you get all your energy towards your minutest nerves. So that's the Sukshma pranayama, and then all you can sit and we will enchant the Om mantra, the Brahmi. So I'm going to, my topic is Ayurvedic herbs to boost your immunity and well-being. So probably I think I'll be doing the saransh of what Dr. Jain said, what Dr. Pratap Chauhan said, what other doctors have said, and what the yoga teacher from Italy said, how to have a quality life. So let's sit down and enchant the mantra of Om, which we are going to do with the marma evocations of our, first you can observe me by pressing on your all the marma points and then closing your ears. So I'm going to tell you the exercise which I do with all my patients in Australia. First you close your eyes and then you try to think whether you can think or not. That's the way you block your thinking. So I'm going to block my eyes, so you can block your eyes, and now start thinking if you can think anything. So try to think if you can think anything. Can you think anything? No. So this way you can block your thought process. And then when you block your ears, you block the noise from whole of the word. And then you start the word Om. Take a deep breath, and then again, if you do this for 5 to 6 breaths, that's the way you calm your mind. So when you are invocating the sound of Om, our ears can only listen from 10,000 hertz. That's 10 to 10,000 hertz. So that's why we are not listening the voice of the God, which NASA has proved that the voice which is going around the world is the Om. So there is a way to enchant. Some people say and then they go in their kantha, which is their chakra, and then they normally from their heart chakra to the throat chakra, and then they go from the spiritual side. So I'm going to do 3 times. So if anybody wants to do with me, then it will be great. Take a deep breath and then start all over again. So now you can feel the energy of the room, how the energy of the room has changed. The Om is the Bijak mantra of everything. So the Om has got the universe, the Om has got anything. When you are enchanting the Om, it's doing all the marma points which doctor has said, from the occipital to the temporal to the side, everything. So now my topic is Ayurvedic herbs to boost your immunity and well-being. So I'll be touching on the concept first and then going to the Satrajtam, and then we'll explaining how the mind, according to the Bhagavad Gita, there is, because I read Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, I'm a very spiritual person, and I wear the holy basil, which helps me not to tell even a single lie. So I've been wearing that for the last 4 years, and I've been reading Bhagavad Gita for the last 5 years. So the only one thing which Dr. Pratap said, how to control the mind. The Bhagavad Gita says, your birth, whichever form you are there, is only for one purpose. to do your karmic activities. If today, going out of that room, you take only one thing, that I am here just for doing my karmas, nothing else. The Sat, Raj, Tam, they are a part of you, but the God in Bhagavad Gita says, I am above the Sat, Raj, Tam. I am beyond that. So your body is just a covering. It's just a covering your soul, and when you will die, all your Panch Mahabhut, all your elements will become like a dust. Recently I had one patient, she just, it didn't come in the newspaper. In Adelaide there was a student from Asia and he committed suicide, and that patient was standing in front of that person when he just fell from the 5th floor and in front of her. She came to me the next day and asked only one question, what should I do? I have seen somebody doing the suicide, and I can't forget it. I can't sleep. I said only one thing, like that was his karma, and what you are doing is spoiling your karma. That's what Lord Buddha says. Whosoever says something to you, like Dr. Pratap Chauhan said, yahan se suno, wahan se nikal do. We can do that. But the moment you decide that your life is itself a challenge, your life itself is a challenge. According to Bhagavad Gita, Shri Krishna says that this world is a misery. There is nowhere written in Bhagavad Gita that your life will be joy. Kahin bhi likha nahi hua, there is nowhere written that your life is joyful. The moment we stop thinking that my life is not joyful, it's a challenge, then all the negativity will be converted into a challenge. So the most important thing is to think in a positive way, that your life is challenge. There are no joys and sorrow into it. There's only challenges into it. If somebody says something, it's up to you whether you take it or not take it. If you take it, then there is science behind it. If you keep that thought for more than 24 to 48 hours, it will become a thought process. Like today somebody said to you, oh, your shirt was not good. The way you were dressing was not good. You're looking very horrible. So the thought, if you keep on thinking about that person again and again, that will become your thought process. And the moment you will see that person, basically, you will ignore that person. आप उसके सामने जाओगे नहीं. You will start hating that person. And when the hatred comes, then the imbalance comes. So I'm going to start my slideshow. I'll be very basic, so probably for the students I'll be teaching. So, because most of our gurus have said so much, there's nothing left for me. But still I'll try to do my best. So, introduction to the group. So, as Dr. said, Ayurveda is made up of 2 words. Ayu means life and Veda means knowledge. It heals from all the aspects of life, the physical, spiritual, mental, social, and it's a holistic approach. Like the yoga teacher from the Italy said that we should have a more holistic approach, and Daniela said we should have a more holistic approach. So the holistic approach is when we are going to heal all the chakras of life, the digestion, the Agni, all the dhatus, all the malas, all the doshas. So basically we say, therefore we say that Ayurveda heals all the aspects of life. It's a 5,000-year-old. So the most important thing is the modern medicine is only 250 years old. Therefore, we compare that Ayurveda is 5,000 years old. Because the older the things are, the more stable they are. So the modern medicine is only 250 years old. Therefore, we compare those years with that. Our Charak Sanhita is the father of medicine. And now in Australia, in Melbourne, the Sushruta statue has been installed there. I don't have the picture, but you can Google it. And all our texts are Ashtanga Hridaya and Madhav Nidan. And Ayurveda in the 21st century is that we have got so many herbs, yoga, meditation, panchakarma, And then WHO has recognized Ayurveda for the last 20 years, and it's a plus point over the conventional medical system as it eradicates the disease from the roots, and it prevents the lifestyle diseases and promotes health. So I'm going to talk about a little bit about the doshas. I know as we progress in our life and we become very influential doctors, and we have got OPDs filled with our patients, and we don't think that still that Vata Pitta Kapha should be studied. So, but today I'll be teaching you Vata Pitta Kapha and then going to the Satrajtam. So we have got the three main subtle energy, and now everybody asks, like in the modern world, what is Vata, Pitta and Kapha? But now as the research is going on, there are few of the researchers which has now defined where the Vata is, where the Pitta is, and where the Kapha is. So Vata is basically, it controls all the movements, all the breathing and natural urges, the tissue formation, motor function and sensory function, controls the secretion and excretion, and the main part with the mind comes is the fear. So if you are fearful today, sitting here, then probably your Vata will get imbalanced. It's the only science in the world which talks about the Oj, the immunity, the Rasayan. There is no other medicine in the world which talks about Rasayana. So immunity is the natural, it's the body's way of defend itself from the foreign pathogens that cause infection. It undergoes the process of fighting the infectious organism and healing itself. These are the body barriers to infections are your skin. So if suppose something sits on your skin like a mosquito or anything, your body nerves actually gives a sensation and you normally just, shuts it up. This acid in your stomach, that it is because it prevents the growth of so many organisms, the HCl which is in your stomach, the saliva, the amylase which you normally see is the thing and you secrete it, the tears which basically are having a barrier of all the dust you are getting. So it's basically that's, some people don't have tears, then they have problem with so many infections. Then the mucus in your mouth and nose. Therefore, in our olden ages, we used to say that don't put your finger in your nose, don't rub your eyes too much, don't put all the other things in your mouth, and then it's cell in your bloodstream that destroys the bacteria. So these are the immunity things which we normally talk about, and factors affecting the immunity, the age-related changes. So as we age, there are so many things which go from the Kapha to Pitta and then Vata. And then mental, I can give you a very small example, like if you cut an apple and after some time you say that the apple turns brown, so that's oxidation. So in Australia we have got a lot of problem with oxidation because what people do there, they make a big, what my patient said, they make a big batch of soup and put it in the freezer. They make a big batch of everything, put it in the freezer. They will cook a lot for their family and they will put in the freezer. But what happens? They think that if you put something in the freezer, it will stop decaying. But that is not the nature. The God plays its role, because as you will throw something, you will see all the flies, the insect, all those, everything will come and will decay. That's the nature. So it will decay, so don't think that it starts decaying. But the fungus, the research have shown that fungus starts growing in it. As you have seen that you will cook some dal and you will left it on your table, there will be some water on the top. That's oxidation. So the fungus, it has already started decaying. So that's the fungus. So that's the main low resistance to pathogens. So normally when you have got low resistance to all the infections, what you will have is, as the season will change, either you will get a virus, or you will get a bug, or you will get a sore throat, or something will happen, or either you will start coughing, or you will feeling too much of cold, or too much of hot. So that's very important to show that your immunity is low. You should do something, and the solution is there in Ayurveda only. So the signs of good immunity according to Ayurveda or the Oja is sattvic, or the calm mind with a positive attitude towards life. Energy levels are high throughout the day. The tongue is clear. Like Dr. Pratap Chauhan is saying that he is doing one portal to see all the ama and the toxins on the tongue, which is very good. So I would like to have that portal in my clinic. Digestion is strong and normal bowel movements. I've got so many patients which normally take Coloxil with Senna, which is very common in Australia to get the normal bowel habits. I had one patient with PCOS which I was trying to cure and to help her. And the first thing she says, I don't want daily bowel movements. I was astonished. I said, oh my God. She says, what my partner will think? Because we normally go for camping. And what do you want me? That I should be digging the soil and doing the shit every day? I was amazed. I was really amazed that she was moving her bowels after every 3 or 4 days, and she didn't want her bowels to be moved every day. I tried to convince her a lot, like this is the normal. She says, this happened to me, this happened to my mother, this happened to my grandmother, how it could be normal? I was quiet. I said, well, you have come to an Ayurvedic physician. This is the normal thing which I am going to teach, and this is what is written in our scriptures, and that's what we normally practice. So that patient didn't turn up, but still I do my best, and I try to treat my patients the best thing, which is the authentic thing. Digestion is strong, normal bowel habits, body has pleasant odor and smell, high water resistance to infection, eat a balanced sattvic diet, does exercise like yoga, breathing exercise, and meditate. I read a very beautiful article by one of our yogis, and he said, God has given us 5 senses, and then 2 hands and 2 legs. So if the Atma has to be happy, we have to meditate, we have to exercise. There is no excuse for that. So I would recommend that you should all follow the sattvic diet, which is basically like recommended by Dr. Chauhan, which are the fresh, juicy, light, nourishing, sweet and tasty, give the necessary energy to the body without taxing it. So it's written taxing it because if you eat heavy, what it will do is all your tissues and all your blood vessels from everywhere will go to your stomach and will help to digest the food. Therefore, one of our doctors said we should eat 3/4 of our meals and then leave the 1/3. That is our Ayurvedic principle. The foundation of higher state of consciousness. Because if you are doing yoga, if you are doing meditation and you are having bloating or indigestion or having problem to pass your gas, or if you are having regurgitation, if you are having acidity, imagine how you will be sitting in that posture for a long time. You will be very irritated and you will be tossing around and you will be thinking when this class will finish. And if you are writing a paper and if you are in an exam, imagine that you had a full diet and you are going for an exam. How you will think, because all your blood vessels will be there and all your juices will be in your stomach digesting your food. So, alpahara. So example like juicy fruits, fresh vegetables that are easily digestible, fresh milk and butter, whole soaked or also sprouted beans. Because I have done post-graduation in nutrition, therefore the emphasis on the sprouted beans are very important for a person like vegetarian, because when you sprout any beans, it becomes the highest source of vitamin E. It becomes the highest source of vitamin E. And vitamin E is what people talk about omega, 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 omega. When you will go to any place, they will say, oh, are you taking your omegas? What is omega? Omegas are 2 types actually, omega-3 and omega-6. When you eat anything which is healthy like flaxseed, walnuts, almonds and healthy nuts, they are all omega-3. The omega-6 are the prostaglandins, which causes inflammation. Therefore, when I talked to Dr. Jain in the morning, I asked him what is about the fat. The fat is basically the trans fatty acid which is released by the omega-6, which causes the prostaglandin to produce inflammation in the body. The main inflammation in your body, according to the scientific things, is coming from the oil or the fat which you are taking, because the fat channels goes through the lymph and it blocks the lymph. So if you are eating palm olive oil, cottonseed oil, sunflower oil, all these oils produces omega-6. They don't produce omega-3, which is the main source of inflammation, because it produces prostaglandins which blocks the channels, and straight away they will cause inflammation. They are the inflammatory markers. If you want to be healthy, reduce your fat content. The daily requirement of your fat content is only 10 milligrams or just 1 tablespoon. So it's better you reduce your fat content, you will be living more healthy. Beans and nuts and many herbs and spices in the right combination. The Rajasic diet is sour, salty, so mostly we eat a Rajasic diet. The sour, salty, pungent, hot and dry increase the speed and excitement of the human organism, the foundation of motion, activity and pain. The sattvic food that have been fried, oiled, cooked or eaten in excess with the specific foods and spices that are strongly exciting. The tamasic food is basically what mostly the Australian people eat. They are old, dry, decaying, distasteful, unpalatable, consume a large amount of energy, their foundation of ignorance, doubt and pessimism. Foods that have been strongly processed, canned, frozen or they're old and stale, because they eat a lot of canned food there. Meat, fish, egg, liquor and are all. So how to balance your body? The proper balance of the body and mind is by controlling your mind through eating a sattvic Ayurvedic diet, yoga and meditation. If one component is missing, then the body's chakras get imbalanced and lead to the diseases. So I would just like to add here a couple of things that normally the rasayan is which nourishes the vital fluids. It prevents the aging, the geriatric which we were saying, increase the longevity of the life with giving a good quality. It normally forms the mental and the intellectual and the usefulness and luster. It normally gives a longevity to the life with a nourishing, and if you will see one person and if that person is full of vigor and vitality and smile and happiness, you normally feel yes, the energy is there. So this is our basic nature. We want to follow the people who have got the positive energy rather than the negative energy, because if we have got the negative energy, the negative energy will basically explode. So therefore we want people who are more happy, have more vitality, and normally they are looking very sattvic. The number and my website is there. That's it.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for beautifully explaining the diets. And as ma'am talked about rasayan, the Charak Samhita beautifully quotes Dirghamayu Smriti Medha Arogyam Tarunam Vaya Prabhavana Swarodaya Dehendriyam Balam Varam Vak Siddhi Pranati Kanti Labhatena Rasayanat Labhopayo Hi Shastanam Rasadinam Rasayanam. That which brings the best out of the Rasadi Dhatus is rasayan. A huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for Dr. Karuna Jaiswal. I would request Dr. Gaurang Joshi to felicitate ma'am on this occasion. Ma'am is a member of the Australasian Doctors Association. She works in Australia, and we have a lot of inspiration now, and expiration is equally important. So relax and have your lunch, and we'll get back together in the plenary session at 2 sharp, because we have live workshop and then the one more lecture from Dr. Vijay Jain sir, all the way from USA, and also from Dr. Brajesh Mishra sir, and then the valedictory function.